Welcome to the recess meeting for the Town of Tustin Town Board, June the 17th. The meeting is called back to order. We do not need to do the pledge. No. 2.1, the weight restrictions on Lackawaxen Road. Is there a discussion from the board regarding this? Board discussion. Don is not coming. Don says that he has made it clear what his position is. Obviously, it was also in the paper. So he is out with the road crew.
Can I add a little bit to the discussion?
I will give you like 2 or 3 minutes, Chuck, only because we know that this is something that you.
Sure. I went back and I looked, there is a town law.
There's a road preservation law.
There is a road preservation law.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that Don's not here because I had several questions for him. And those being, we know that there's truck traffic on the road. You had mentioned that there's some going to be
Now, the
some
road preservation, just to bring this, the 2 board members that are here up, I'm not sure if they're aware of that. That is for temporary constructions, and it was done back in the early or mid 2010s for gas drilling.
Okay, but it wasn't just exclusive to gas. As a matter of fact, the preservation and the actual act, the local preservation program, and the oh goodness, anyway, it was all brought about not only for the gas drilling, but also to protect the local roads and the degradation. That's pretty spelled out.
Look under the applicability of that. And the only reason that I know this is because
there was concentrated traffic, and there's construction traffic. They have it broken down into
right. The construction traffic is going to be for, you know, I mean, I don't have.
But it talked about overweight vehicles. It wasn't exclusive to.
It is in the applicability section. It is. Authority definition, traffic applicability. Intends to undertake construction activity of result in concentrated traffic on town highways. So that is different than what we're discussing.
I will tell you on Friday and Saturday, I had one trucker make 16 trips in the scope of 2 days.
Okay.
Loaded, uncovered in both directions. Just, it was constant.
Was it a construction job that was on the road? Was it what?
I didn't follow. I didn't follow.
Okay. But this road use preservation law, the applicability for this is strictly for construction activity.
But it also
concentrated traffic on.
It also talks about timbering.
It does. Well, that we've always had that. We've always had that.
And it also talks about heavy equipment operations.
That is with jobs. We're not talking about through traffic. We're talking about the applicability.
All right. The other problem is the hydrology and geology of the mountain, because of the water. Every time a heavy truck pumps that road, the water lifts up and it heaves. Okay.
Yeah, we're kind of getting into a lot more.
But we're
is to make a determination of whether we want to put a weight limit on a road based on what we've got from the highway superintendent.
But we also have engineering surveys that talked about, you know, there's a damage assessment that was done on these roads, and Lackawaxen Road was one of them, back with the engineering report that was done by
Delta Engineering.
Done by Delta Engineers. So there's a long-standing problem with the road, and the road is not.
And
it's not the only one. It's not the
only one. The highway superintendent is not supportive of putting a weight restriction on this road.
But he's not here.
He doesn't need to be though, Chuck. That's the problem. This is not a debate between the board members and the superintendent of highways on what wants to be done. It's the superintendent's responsibility for the maintenance, upkeep, repair of the road.
And it's not being done.
That is a statement that may or may not be supported. But going on what the superintendent of highway wants, he does not want a weight restriction on it.
But you offered him to come here and he's not here. You're saying he doesn't have to be here. I have to question why he doesn't want to be here, why he doesn't want to.
He's not working with the guys. He said he's had conversations with you regarding this.
He did.
Conversations with me regarding this. He's on public record saying that he does not want a weight restriction on the road. I'm just not gonna beat that dead horse. I'm
Okay.
gonna jump right into I'm going to ask if I have a motion to put a weight restriction on the Lackawaxen Road at this time. I'm not gonna beat the horse to death. I'm just not. We're not gonna get anywhere, Chuck, with it.
I
at this point.
appreciate that,
Uh,
but he should be here. And I know he talked to you. I know he talked to the River Reporter, but he's not doing it in the public view where it needs to be done.
I'd have to believe that saying in the
but-
River Reporter that he does not want to have a weight restriction put on the road is kind of the
Well,
public view.
but it's just not,
You're
what
asking
is-
for
what
him to
is-
defend it.
what is,
That's a little bit different.
what is he doing to prevent the degradation of the road? It's only been 6 or 7 months since it was repaved. And now it's breaking apart again. You can only apply CHIPS money every 10 years. And are we going to have to wait another 10 years for repairs to be made?
These sound like questions for Don, that
And
you
you-
should address to Don.
Absolutely. And they have had the conversations back and forth about different things
But-
in the shouldering of the roads and things like that.
And he hasn't done anything. Okay, I'm gonna ask you, since you hold his purse strings. Where,
He says that he will be resealing that road next year.
okay. I also understand that there was an audit done. Recently, that included highway department, correct?
We audit the bills every month.
Okay,
But-
no, the 2024-25 year. Was there issues with the CHIPS money?
Not that I'm aware of. Are you talking about the audit that we have done for the state by the Cooper Arias?
Yes,
Not that I'm aware of. I can go back and look, but I don't believe that I recall seeing anything with CHIPS money.
okay. Was there any problems with roads, extra roads being paved and thought the money was going to be covered by CHIPS and it
So the
wasn't?
problem with CHIPS
Covered.
is we do
Wasn't
not
covered.
know the exact amount of money that we're going to get.
Okay,
Now, say this year, we're gonna have Grassy Swamp Road at the river end was paved and it was not on the schedule to be paved. So that's money that's going to have to, if it doesn't come out of CHIP money, it's gonna have to come out of his budget money. And the reason that it was paved was because they went down there and because the year was so bad with the winter, the snow plows dug it up a little bit more to the point where they could not, they either had to turn it back to dirt or they had to pave it. There was no patching it anymore. So that is one of the things. That being said, do I have a motion to, because we have to move on. I've got 2 more things before people come. Do I have I will make a motion to put a weight restriction on the Lackawaxen Road. Do I have a second for it? If I have no second, no further discussion will be. If I have a second, we will take a vote on it. Either way it ends up. I have no second on a motion to place a weight restriction on Lackawaxen Road. So at this point in time, we're not going to do it. And I'm going to go to 2.2 regarding a letter of
okay,
intent
we put that aside.
to participate, yes, and
Okay.
now,
I have just one other question. How are we going to hold Don to make the necessary repairs? Now, he had told me he was going to back the road up this year. You're intent of telling me that the road's going to be resealed. That's not backing the road up.
I don't know when he's going to back the road up.
You told me you hold the purse strings to
When it
his
comes to
department.
budget, yes, we hold the budget for the 2027 budget. When we start working on that, when I start working on that about 2.5 months, then we can address to what he needs.
Okay, my last question. How do we hold the department accountable? If he's not coming to the meetings, how do we address it other than some public forum through the newspaper, which is a third party?
To be honest with you, Chuck, you're the only complaint that I have on Lackawaxen Road, and Don has said to me, I've been on Lackawaxen Road days when I've worked and had no truck traffic. So, you know, I don't know what to say as far as what you're looking for. He is held accountable to the people that elect him, much like the town clerk is held accountable. I can no more tell the town clerk how to do her job than I can tell Greg. We that sit here are equal.
I understand.
They that sit there and they that sit up there are their own entities, equal to themselves, and they do not work at the direction of the board. We can have communications of lines open, you know, we can work with them. We don't, because I'm the supervisor, I don't get to tell Don what to do. The only thing that I get to do is run the operations of the town on a day-to-day basis, based on what the town board tells me to do. I don't get the free rein. That's the way it works. I represent the 4 people that sit with me on how to operate day to day.
So the fact of what he told me about making repairs to the road, that's,
But that's what he's saying. He's gonna do it. I have no way to hold his feet to the fire other than saying, okay, next year, we're not gonna give you your brand new loader that you're asking for, or we're not going to give you money to do this. That's where our first string goes. It's much like, if you remember, the town of Highland, they had a highway superintendent that was elected and he never showed up to work, not one day. Got the same pay. Town board couldn't do anything for him. They couldn't help the people in the town of Highland at all. You know, to the point where they had to show that he actually moved away and they had him out, so,
Not to interrupt, gentlemen, but it is quarter to 1.
yep, I'm sorry.
okay.
I appreciate your time. I
You're
really
welcome.
do.
I know it's not the outcome that you wanted.
No, I just.
So
you know,
we're gonna go in step 2 and I'm gonna pass another person off, I'm sure, here in a second.
No, well, I don't get pissed off. I just wanted to bring it to your attention, you know, and
Okay,
It-
it's my turn.
go.
Thank you. Thank you for coming in.
You're welcome.
So the letter of intent, I sent that to Peter, I forwarded to the board, the email, and I believe I gave you a hard copy of it. Yep.
Okay, I'd like to speak.
You got the floor.
Okay, first of all, I'd like the board to agree on 2 things. One thing is that we don't want to do anything that affects the character of our community. I think we can all agree on that. And the second thing is that we do want some senior housing in our community. If we can agree on that, then we're all on the same page to start.
I think I'm on the same page with you on this. Jim.
Okay.
Absolutely am. I just have concerns about your space.
But I'm here to allay those concerns. And the way I'm going to do that is, if Peter's right, and this is why we have Peter, because he really knows his stuff. And he did say also that he hasn't completely delved into it, and so I did go a little bit further. And one of the things that Peter says on the first page of your handout is, in the second paragraph, it says, perhaps if there was an opt-out option,
Right.
that then this would be more palatable. Well, there is an opt-out option, and that is that in order to be a pro-housing community, you have to recertify every year. So if you don't recertify, you're out and you've opted out. So that should help you about this. The other thing is the pro-housing, and he did say that there's work on the part of the town that needs to go into the application. I looked at it, and what it is simply is looking at what we have already in our zoning and just writing in there. For instance, what they say is, how many categories of zoning do you have? is it called category? What do we call those?
Schedule?
Schedules. So we have 7. So they said, then fill this out if you have 7 or less, and they asked you on that, and this is the work of the town. What is the square footage of the property, or what can go in there? Can multi-housing go in there, or only your single resident? So that's very simple, we have it. That's not a lot of work, from what I can see. The other thing is that he questions, or that I want to bring to your attention, I guess, is when you submit, there's an option 1 and an option 2. Option 1, what we have to file with them is a zoning map. We have that. File and format readable by GIS software. We have that. I think so, right?
Yeah.
Then the 7 different
So
What do they call it?
schedules.
schedule, yeah. And then housing planning and building permit information from the prior 5 years. I've already gotten that from Jocelyn. That's all, it's reported to you every month. And then the note is that the template includes documentation of 1% growth in the last year, or 3% in the last, or that's downstate, or 0.33% in the last, or 1% in the last 3 years upstate. We have done that. We have that many new houses. So really, we don't have much to do.
Yeah, I don't think he was really worried about what we have to do. I think he was more worried about,
What it limited us. to
yes,
do.
and he wanted answers for the page 2 of his email that I sent out, 1 through 5.
I do see that. And again, but this, well, first of all, I think the state is addressing the communities that are nowhere near what we've done. When I sat in a meeting about housing about a year ago, the people in that room just sat there with blank faces. And I'm saying, yes, we have that. Yes, we have that. And the people from Patterns for Progress just looked at me. Wow, you even know what I'm talking about. So I think a lot of this is set up for those other communities.
Yeah, I think what Peter's concern is not that the senior housing, but some of the other things that can change the character of our town. And they need to be addressed before he's supporting getting the certification.
I get that a lot, because I don't want to change the character either. But the stream and the big thing would be streamlining. And I think streamlining.
I don't think that was an issue with Jim when I talked to him.
Oh, what was Jim's?
Well,
Did he have any concern?
he feels the same way that you feel, that I feel, that, you know, we need the senior housing, we need things. There's things we can streamline to help them. But his same thing, you know, I said, well, I want to go to Peter and I want to find out what Peter does, because he's going to find the nuances in there
Right.
that could create a
Well,
problem.
Peter said Rockland has done this. The town of Rockland is certified in our county. There are several other townships that have letter of intents, but they're not certified. All I'm asking right now today is just to get approved a letter of intent. That's all. I'll come back to you in 2 weeks and ask for the resolution. But today, only a letter of intent, and that's as far as it goes. And again,
I think
this
the
is-
letter of intent, we should be okay, because we haven't passed the resolution.
right,
And that would give me time. Peter said he would delve into this.
yes,
So the letter of intent would say we're interested. If we
Yeah.
don't pass a resolution, we're not interested.
And I think Peter's point number 5 is probably the most far-reaching of the 5 things he outlines.
Mm-hmm.
So just realize, I can vote for a letter of intention today, but that is the one thing I'm
For the
most
resolution.
curious to hear about in terms of the
Well,
resolution.
keep in mind that we meticulously, I don't want to use the word crafted, made our zoning so that we do satisfy some multi-housing, but our multi-housing in our zoning limits to 4 families, that's it. And I think it's only in 1 or 2 areas, right?
Right.
so again, I think this state is thinking of people that don't even have zoning and blah, 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 but I might be wrong, I might be just making assumptions, because I always have rose colored glasses.
But does Peter know that and still say, number 5, enacting policies that encourage a broad range of housing development?
Know more about the state pushing.
Right, because he knows what our zoning is.
Yeah.
And I told him what my concern was, is that when the state is looking to give us something, they want something, and somewhere in this, it is embedded what they want us to have.
Yes, let's get a little bit further into this. All we're asking for this year, and again, we don't have to opt in next year, is a feasibility study.
And what year is that? Is that 2026
Well,
to December 31st?
That has to be in July 26th.
So for next year. So we're really making a,
And that's all you need is a letter of intent, you don't need the resolution at that
I,
point.
we might, I.
Okay, but that would give him enough time.
Yes, yes.
Kevin, any-
It's just, Peter used the word vague, and that was always my problem with
New York?
this, and New York. Anthony, was it Anthony?
Yeah.
He's just the tip of the iceberg, the kinds of questions he was asking, and the concern he showed. You know what this reminds me of, Jane? You were on the board then. Remember there was some vague zoning change floated down from somebody, maybe it was Sullivan Renaissance or something?
About,
It was
oh,
a-
yes.
And
But
it
about
resulted,
maintenance,
it resulted in a
No, but Kevin, it's
fire
something
sale.
he is asking is what comes out of the feasibility study. Because patterns for progress, we're not gonna do it, they're gonna do it. Doesn't cost us anything, they're going to come in here, they're going to advertise, community, come in, let me hear your concerns. It's sort of, I learned my lesson through the pavilion. We didn't have those kinds of meetings until it was a little
Absolutely.
late. Is that not recorded?
Yes, it is.
I didn't. But this is correcting that process.
I'm just saying. Dotting every I and crossing everything, whatever. I'm glad he was on this because I just think you're inviting all kinds of suspicions and paranoia. The state's gonna come in and put in housing, who's gonna get that? housing?
Have to have a public forum to discuss it. That's why somebody else can lead it. It doesn't have.
Are
to
you
be-
at a point where you can make a decision if I introduce a resolution regarding just the letter of
The
intent?
letter, the letter takes us to the next step where, you know,
The resolution, yeah.
yeah.
I would make the motion to authorize a supervisor to sign the letter for the New York State Homes and Community Renewal Office of Resilient Home Communities as requested by the deputy supervisor. That sound right?
Sounds great.
Second,
Yes.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Okay,
Aye,
thank you.
opposed?
Okay,
You needed all three of us, too, you know.
I know, I see that.
I'll leave because you said.
I make a motion to enter the executive session for the purpose of discussing
You're welcome. Thank you for
the
listening.
sale or acquisition of real property.
You're going to that.
We are currently out of executive session and back into the regular meeting. Board comment? Would that be it?
Board comment, well, I'm not a board.
You're
member.
public. so.
You are. a
Oh,
board
public
member.
comment. Thank you very much for approving this. And I think that this is the right step of the beginning. And when my question is, what am I permitted to say to Ms. Gregoretti?
As far as the,
The word's still mum.
yes, yeah.
Cause we haven't made any, just, you know.
Yeah,
He's gonna find out, he's gonna get his answer.
yeah, he'll get his answer tomorrow,
Okay,
because I'm gonna make a phone call after this. And then
I just wanna,
they will make a phone call.
You can exit their meeting.
Can we adjourn our meeting and then
Yeah, we can.
close?
404. Who's making the motion to end the meeting?
I motion that.
Wow,
Second.
I
right,
second it.
Kevin,
Everyone in favor.
Aye.
on favor,
I have
and one.